A close friend of mine asked me if it was possible to have some treatment in one of his rooms during COVID because he was composing music for his clients and the room was making it difficult for him. He had another requirement though. The room he was using was a temporary arrangement and he planned to shift to another city. So he wanted to take the acoustical treatment with him. I am Amod from Consonance Acoustics and we can solve similar problems that you may be facing with your home studio. Contact us on the number mentioned and we will be happy to help you with your home studio. Even I was starting with Consonance Acoustics in those days. The low frequency absorber was in its early stages of development. I had experimented with the implementation in a couple of spaces. Both of us were eager to try things out. He didn't have a crazy budget, but that was okay. Let me tell you with pride that he is making it big in the Indian film industry and Hollywood, having worked with three-time Academy Award winner Howard Shore on Hollywood movies like Life, with labels like Warner Chappell, and much more. Stick around till the end, you will get to hear what he had to say about how to approach home studios. We started by testing the space. Testing such spaces in an inexpensive way is definitely possible. You can check out another video we made about that. The link is in the description. The empty room was obviously a disaster and doing any kind of music production was impossible. The RT looked like this. We came up with an acoustical design based on the test and simulations, hired an architect to design the interior, and got the treatment done. After treatment, RT came down to a much more acceptable figure. Let's hear from Ashutosh what his expectations were when we got into it.
So if it is a film score, what the narrative of the film is what dictates the tone of the music or the sound that you're looking for. It is already there in the movie, and that helps me to uh, get a clearer picture of what kind of sound palette should I first work upon. Then I do. I spend a few days in doing some trial and errors, using different sorts of instruments and see what what is a combination of uh, different types of instruments which is working for that particular movie. Once that is set, then I have a template in my. I use Logic as my DAW. So once I have it set, then I just use one template for the entire film or the entire series after that. My room was around like 8 by 12 room, a very small one, and it had like a lot of reverb and a lot of reflections coming through the walls, and it was a terrible experience in the beginning to be working in that workspace. But like we worked together, and you came once. I hope you recall. You got your instruments and all, and uh, after that, it was a smoother experience to be working in that smaller space. I did, but after a few days, or I started realizing that I had to work only through the headphones. Reason being the monitors, like whatever sound I was hearing through the monitors, there was so much of feedback coming through the reflections of across the walls, that my perception of sound was being compromised. So I had to work through the headphones for the most amount of time in that period. Yeah, it was impossible to record any instrument when the room wasn't treated. All I could hear was just reverberations and nothing clearer. So it was simply not working out. I had to rent out a studio even for scratch versions. So initially, I used to live in Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar in 2020. Then I moved to Pune. Then I moved to Mumbai. So I always had this thing in mind that whatever setup I'm doing, it needs to be portable. without damaging the structure of the building, because I was planning on living in rented spaces. The sound absorption material had to be something which I can carry like a laptop. Like once I install it, I can just wrap it and then take it to another place, install it again, and I should be able to start working. So that was one of the primary requirements which you helped me out with. Budget is definitely something which bedroom music producers are concerned, especially if you're starting out. You do not have a savings, and so you do not know how much amount to spend on sound absorption. So what I've come across with many of the music producers is they try to shy away from spending even 1 lakh rupees for sound absorption, and rather they spend much of their time working on the headphones, which I find pretty like, on their part it is absolutely correct, because not everyone can afford to spend 1 lakh at the initial stages of their careers. But I think once you start saving a little bit of amount, uh, this area, spending investing in sound absorption or having a room even treated basically, it is quite essential, because it saves your ears. Because once your ear gets fatigued, and if you damage your ear using, sometimes when you are in the creative process, you have a momentum and you want to hear your music at a louder volume, and you forget that your ears are not made up made, not the capacity of the ear is only definite. You should not be hearing music at the loudest level for a longer time. It is not meant for that. So sometimes we tend to forget it. That is the whole point behind having a room treated and working through monitors for the most part of your time. Uh, what initial like my initial planning 4 years or 5 years ago was to have 10% of whatever I'm earning, have 10% of it put aside, simply to invest it later for any music instrument, be it not necessarily any music instrument, but anything which is to do with my work. It could be hard drives, it could be a MIDI keyboard or a monitor, or for instance, I put uh, a lakh or 1.5 lakh rupees initially. I set it aside to have it to have my room treated. So you can have whatever you can. My move was to start saving 10% of annual income on music instruments. Later, I would want to be able to start saving even more, because the instruments are pretty expensive. The sample libraries are getting pretty expensive. So either you have to build your own sample libraries or spend in sample libraries, which are damn expensive. So you better start saving some amount of money for sound absorption or your music instruments. I like every day in and day out, I try to get inspired by the sounds which are near to me. So whatever music I'm doing, whatever part of music I am going to compose today, it I try to make an effort that it sounds original. And how it could sound original is to record yourself playing different instruments or whatever you can. Just start recording stuff and start using it in your own music. If you tend to do that, then certainly there is a edge over other music producers which are using the same set of sample libraries, same set of soft synths. So everyone in the industry is using same set of instruments or sample libraries. So if you want to create something unique, or if you have to have your own identity, you can start recording your stuff, sample them. uh, there are even opportunities to sell your sample libraries, create a website, start doing a business, so that after a point, if you have a catalog, you can even, maybe perhaps that's a possibility to start earning a little bit of passive income through it. So that is one thing that I've been practicing over for since I started my career, to have something original, and I think everyone should do it.
So there you have it. In conclusion, allocate funds for proper acoustical treatment, as that will elevate your experience of composing and producing music. Get the right people to design the acoustics for you, unless you want to keep throwing money on improper treatment. Define your specific needs the way Ashutosh did, as that will determine the exact treatment. And most importantly, don't quit. Things will work out. That's all for now. Subscribe and share this video to keep us motivated to make more of these videos.